One thing that is evident with the collection of tonight's winners is the importance and success that women are having in yachting today. It reminds me of a brief story that was recently told to me. One day, 3 men out having a relaxing day fishing, when suddenly they caught a mermaid. After hauling the mermaid up in the net, she promised that if the men set her free, she will grant each one of them a wish in return. The first man doesn't believe it, so he says, all right, if you can really grant me wishes, then double my IQ. The mermaid says, done. And suddenly the first man starts to flawlessly recite Shakespeare and with an extreme insight. The second man is so amazed, he looks at the mermaid and says, triple my IQ. The mermaid says, done. And the second man starts to recite solutions to mathematical problems that have been stumping science in various fields from physics to chemistry. The third man is so enthralled with the changes in his friends, he says to the mermaid, quintuple my IQ. The mermaid looks at him and says, you know, I normally don't try to change people's minds when they make a wish, but I really wish you would reconsider. The man responds, nope, I want you to increase my IQ 5 times, and if you don't do it, I won't set you free. Please, said the mermaid, you don't know what you're asking. It'll change your entire view on the universe. Won't you ask for something else, $1 million, anything? But having his IQ increase 5 times, it's unusual. It's what he wanted, and he didn't. What was not going to give in. So the mermaid finally relented and said, "Done." The third man became a woman. To begin our presentation of the prestigious Charles Francis Adams Award, I'd like to call on fellow trustee and co-conspirator of the original rededication of this award, John Wales, to say a few words about Bruce. John?
Been a long night, folks. I want to make one special comment before I start, though. I'd like to remember that Bruce Dyson has some pretty good friends here, one of whom is Bill Whitnall, who was a winner of the Charles Francis Adams Trophy some time ago and has been in touch with Bruce over long periods of time. So Bill, you're in the other room, I can see you, you don't have to move. I've always thought Bruce Dyson was an artist, and I had to go through a series of events in my mind to convince myself that it was all true. And I didn't really know Bruce until we got into the International One Designs. He was a sailmaker in those days, and he produced a bunch of sails for the IOD class. And in that process, he was able to see shapes and move shapes into ways that would make a better sail. I don't think we ever picked a Dyson sail, but we were certainly impressed with it. And so in time, Bruce made several tank tops and sink tops, I should say, in boats of ours. They're still on those boats, and they were beautifully built, teak glued, and seamed perfectly. So every 45-degree angle was 45 degrees, and if it was 47, it was 43 on the other side. It was just perfectly done in there. One of them sits in my family room. He took on something that was bigger than any of us could ever imagine. He bought the joke was he bought a 28-foot International One Design, and he made it when it was destroyed. The bow was knocked off, the stern was pounded, and what Bruce did was to rebuild that boat, and it was 33.5 inches, 33 feet, 5 inches long, and it fit right in, and out he was racing with Norm Cressy for a long period of time. But then the thought occurred to him, I gotta build a 48-foot, 8-meter in my discarded pier house. So you have to imagine Bruce's pier house, what was once a nice changing room and a place for people to look around and view the pool, although the pool was never fixed at that time. And he was decided to go to work on this thing, That was almost 21 years ago, a little more than 21 years ago, when it was launched. And it was launched at Dion's Boatyard, and Sue Conley was the representative from the Santry family, was there and officiated with Bruce when they named Pleione after the New York 50 family boat. During construction, Olin Stevens was invited by Gary Gregory to come down and take a look at this 8-meter. So in came Olin Stevens with Bruce and with Gary Gregory and so forth, and he climbed up on the ladder and banged his head on something, and he began to bleed all over the side deck. And Olin was, of course, the gentleman that he was. He went to clean it up, and Bruce said, no, don't do that. He decided he was going to fiberglass it into the hull for good luck. So it's still graced with Olin Stevens as good luck. Bruce took that to Maine, sailed in numerous classic reconstruction boats and so forth, one there. And in the end, he took Pleione to Toronto, and I think that was a world championship in Toronto, it was. And Bruce finished respectively with that. And so that was finishing the season nicely done. Twig has some comments to make on this, but the part about Bruce being an artist, as it occurred to me through sailmaking and through rebuilding Gypsy and for building the 8-meter in a pool house, that's got to be one spectacular accomplishment. And I don't know that any of us would have a pool house that would be devoted for a 48-foot, 8-meter. There he is, right there. So Bruce is not only a master carpenter, but he's an artist. And with that, I asked Twig to finish this presentation.
So the Charles Francis Adams Award is really a body of work, and that's what Bruce has done, has presented to us as a body of work, and I thought I'd just recap some of that tonight. Bruce's journey of water and wind started in 1956 as a 13-year-old racing in the Yankee Dory fleet in Marblehead Race Week, which morphed into a Tempest North American Championship that led to competing in the Tempest Olympic trials on the wire sailing with Van Allen Clark, competing in the hotly contested Jolly Boat fleet, jumping to IOR boats in 1972 and competing in the Admiral's Cup in England as a valuable crew member on the legendary Yankee Girl. Sailing in the SORC in 1973 on No Way, a CNC 39 that won its share of races in New England, competing against the likes of the legendary Arietto. He got into gliding based of his love and understanding of aeronautics and won the 1990 North American Gliding Championships, which qualified him for the U.S. World Soaring Team. After his love affair with the rebuilding of Gypsy that John spoke about, Bruce dove into the local IOD fleet and won the season's championship in 1997. That was followed up by winning the 1998 IOD Worlds Championship in Scotland and being awarded the EYC's Governor Foss Trophy. The Leonard M. Fowle Memorial Trophy in Gypsy he won in 1999 and 2002. He won the Guy Lowell Memorial Bowl 5 times as the IOD Seasons Champion while restoring several IODs in the process that earned him the name of the IOD Whisperer. He won 2 IOD North Americans and 2 Bermuda Gold Cups before it became the International Match Racing Series. Not satisfied with just restoring wooden IODs, he built an 8-meter and a converted pool commander that John talked about behind his house to a sleek Jim Taylor design. Owned by the Santrys, he and his faithful crew and partner Leanne were successful sailing in the classic boat regattas from Maine to Nantucket, competing in numerous Eggemogan Reach regattas, Corinthian Classics, and Opera House Cups, with friends, some of whom are here tonight. They competed in the 8-meter Worlds in Toronto, and in 2006 and again in 2012, they won the Robert B.M. Barton Award for their success with Pleione. Wrapped inside Bruce's 70 years of sailboat racing and gliding competitions, he started a sailmaking business after attending the Ted Hood School of Sailmaking. Crewed for cellulose in this room in North Americans and World Championships, winning several pulling strings for David Curtis. Served the club as a member of the Admissions Committee, House Committee, Long Range Planning Committee, Historical Committee, and was a tremendous resource to me and the club when we renovated the clubhouse roof, siding, pool, Henderson Dining Room, and the Fire Rebuild Committee, and was recognized with the Burgee of Merit in 2009. He and Leanne assumed a leadership role in running the Corinthian Yacht Club Corinthian Classic Regatta. He served as a flag officer for 6 years and was the EYC's Commodore when the clubhouse was opened after the fire of 2014. That was one hell of a season, Bruce. Was inducted in the Marblehead Race Week Hall of Fame in 2014, along with Robbie Doyle, Judd Smith, Rich Wilson, and my brother Nick. So for a gangly 13-year-old winning his first race week pickle dish in 1953, which he claims to still have on the shelf with all his other trophies, to being inducted into the Marblehead Race Week Hall of Fame 61 years later, what do you call this person of so many different talents and accomplishments? Sailing champion, sailmaker, Olympic hopeful, boat builder, IOD whisperer, craftsman, glider champion, Commodore, Renaissance man. He's all of these, and you can add loyal friend too. Legends of the Eastern Yacht Club. Charles Francis Adams, the namesake of the award, who was known as the Beacon of Sailing from his yachting accomplishments, and also shared Bruce's restoration mindset when, as the Secretary of the Navy, he proposed to Congress that the USS Constitution should be restored, which happened in 1907. The other is Starling Burgess, the legendary designer of America's Cup boats, winners Enterprise, Rainbow, and Ranger, who was the owner and brains behind building hydroplanes at his Burgess Airplane Factory in Marblehead. Bruce intersects these two with his accomplishments in yachting that he drew upon for his aeronautical success, and gliders, culminating in his building of Pallini, the belle of the ball when all other fine sailing yachts of yesteryear have left the harbor. Joe Garland wrote of Charles Francis Adams in his history of the Eastern Yacht Club, quote, "It was the combination of his intuitive feel for the interaction among hull, water, and wind, the magic of his touch, his exemplary sportsmanship, which rings true for Bruce Dyson too." Bruce, on behalf of the trustees of the Charles Francis Adams Award, it's our pleasure to recognize you as the 13th recipient, joining such other notables as Dave Curtis, Ted Hood, Bill Whitnall, Judd Smith, Bill Lynn, Norm Cressy, John Wales, and Gary Gregory. Congratulations, Bruce. Well earned.
Congratulations. Well done. Sorry. You say some words? Way to go.
I'm going to ask pass on the award flag to help us slide Bruce's new jacket on.
We gotta get the old one off. The 8 meter comes off. We're gonna find out one way or another, Bruce. Let me know when you're good.
Sorry.
I didn't prepare any remarks, so I'll fake it. I'll add a little bit to my story. When we went to Maine with Laney for the first time, it was a lovely sail up, and the regatta was held in 8 to 10 knots of breeze, which you couldn't ask for anything better. And Laney actually loves that amount of breeze, so it was a little bit like taking free candy from a baby. Sorry about that. I feel like anyway, the race started and
We were the last class to go off. We were the Spirit Tradition boats. We were listening to the radio, and about halfway through the race, somebody said at the radio, "Where's Blaney?" Somebody else said, "It's in front of us." We started last, we finished first. We did that for 3 races. But it became, where's Blaney? Where's Dan Blaney? Where's the effing Blaney? Hey, it was a lovely way to start great racing tradition of that boat, which is for sale right now if anybody wants it. At any rate, yachting around here has been fun since I was a little kid. I grew up on the other side of the harbor, so the Eastern was kind of the pinnacle of my thinking about where I could race, how I could race, and so on. Then Norm Cressy called me up one day, 1990. He said, "What are you doing tonight?" And I said, "Nothing." He said, "Well, put a sports jacket on and a necktie and come over to my house." I said, "What for?" He said, "You're joining the Eastern." I did not want to join the Eastern. I was told I was joining the Eastern. It's probably a first in the annals of Eastern history. Anyway, this has been a joy to be a member of this club, to have made friends with so many people that I never would have made friendships with or had friendships with unless I had joined the Eastern. And it's been a hell of a ride, and I hope to last another 20 years for a little bit more. I could go on for story after story, but no. That's it.
Thank you.
Pete just reminded me to say thank you, Leanne. I guess the evening's over.
Thank you.